In the previous video, we simulated an impressionist painting by sending the turtle to different parts of an image, sampling the color, and then placing a dot at each spot where the color was sampled. We could use an adaptation of this strategy to create a color profile that shows the colors that are in the painting. So I can do this by creating a variable sample colors, and I'm just going to create a list with 100 cells in it to put the sample colors. Since the default Snap color system has 100 color numbers, we'll put a number corresponding to each sample in the image. So our color sample setup, we'll just go through, create a list, and then we'll sample the colors. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've already created my list with the empty slots. And now I'm going to collect the paint samples. And I'll collect the paint samples by just going to a random position and sampling the color. Sampling the color just sets a pin hue to the color at the turtle, and then we add 1 to the number that corresponds to that particular color. And I'm going to go ahead and try that now. I've done this in a program that I call Collect Paint Samples, where I just set everything up, and now I'm going to collect the paint samples. And as I do it, we'll see that different slots are going to fill as we go up and down, and we see there's actually a concentration on the lower numbers. As we go to the higher paint numbers, there's fewer and fewer samples collected. So now that we've done that, we can make a graph, and that graph is just going to go through and draw a line for each color profile. So if I use that method with this procedure, I can create a graph, and this graph shows that if I look at the original photograph, clearly it's got the warm fall colors of orange and yellow and brown. And if I look at the color profile has orange and yellows at this end of the spectrum. However, let's switch to a different image. This is Starry Night by Van Gogh. And if we just put all 3 of our procedures together and graph that profile, we see that, as you'd expect, the color profile is predominated by blue colors in that part of the spectrum. So the spectrum is sort of shifted downward more to the right for Starry Night. And so a color profile can be a useful way of analyzing an image to determine what colors are in the image. Then once we have the color profile, we can use that to create a color palette that corresponds to create our own work with a similar palette.